Now let's learn about how to create API routes in Next.js. By that, what I mean is we can create our own endpoints in Next.js that we used to create in Node.js. So basically, you already know that Next.js is a backend framework or a full stack framework where we can have the front end code in React and backend code just like we have in Next.js. So to create API routes, we need to create a folder first called API. In this folder, let me create a file called index.js. Okay, not case.js. Okay, so just make this as JS. So in here, we can make a function. So it's a function get data. Let me make it as simple regular function. In here, we will do this. So response dot status. Let me throw 200 because 200 is for success, and then we have to do JSON and return some data in JSON format. So we can say name as Nishan. Let me do this initially, only this, but we need to also export the function defaultly. So export default function get data. Now this function is inside /API in the API folder. So to get this data, we can simply go to this /API. Okay, res is not defined, yes. We also need to define this response from the param. So we can say request, comma response. So request is for requesting data from the backend, and response or RDS is sending data to the front end. I think that's correct. Now let me give it a refresh and try again. And we can see name as Nishant here. We can also add other params like age called 26, and this will reflect here. Now this is our endpoint, localhost 3000/API. Now let me create one array here, or a simple array. So let's say let data equals to an array. In here we can say name as Nishant. I mean only my data for now. Age as 26. Let me pass this data in here, replacing this object. So we'll have this data array here. Now if you refresh, this will be turned to an array, not an object. Now let me call this API in a page. But first, let me just remove this and create a button. This button will be called as get user data. Save the button, I mean click yes. Just save the file. Go back and we will have the button here. Now we can call this function here. So first let me create a function called const get data like this. In here we can simply call this get data using fetch API request. So fetch, okay, wait, the thing is we don't need to call the function, that we already have the endpoint /API, so that we can use it. So we can say fetch /API to get this data here. Let me make the function asynchronous, so we can await this. Await, wait, what's the spelling of await? This. Let response equals to this, and let me check it in the console what we are having in the response. Save. We also need to convert the response into JSON format, so we can simply do it here like this, and let's check now. But we need to bind this function to this button, so we can just say on click. Oh, what happened? Get data should be here. Now let me come back, open the inspect tab, Click the button and it's a promise again. I don't know why. Maybe we are having await. Okay, await, fine. What's the problem here? Maybe this should be await as well. But let me give it a refresh and check again. It's again a promise. Maybe what we need to do is await here as well. Yes, that's correct. Now let's check now. Yes, now it is working. Let me zoom this. And you can see the name is Nishan and the age is 26 here. Fine. So that's how we create an endpoint. But what about nested endpoints? For example, let's say in the API, we have one file called, let's say, users. Or let me make it as small users. .js. So let me repeat the code for API here. Just copy this and add it. This will be called as get users. So let me add a few more objects here. So this will be as Uday, age 36 maybe. Then let's say Sanjeet, age 46. Correct. So this users we have is inside API. So if we just go here like /API /users, so we will get this object now. This object, I mean array object, this array object, get users. And to access this endpoint, let me replicate this again. Maybe this will be called as get users and await fetch /API /users, and all the things will be same. Let me just create one more button here and just say get users. So now this get users function will be on this button. Now let me come back, check it here. I mean, open the console, click the get users, and now we will get this array objects Sanjeet, Uday, and Nishan with their ages. So that's how we create nested endpoints in Next.js.